Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Wandering Watercolor. So today I'm painting the first page of the Quaint Scenery watercolor coloring book, part of the books that I make by hand using lithographs. If you purchased the book from me, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I work hard on those. And then if you just want to paint along with us, you're welcome to just pause the image before we start painting on it and just kind of draw it out. And then when you're done, just continue and you can follow along with us. So let's jump over to the painting table. So basically, this is the page. This should be the front page. I kind of mix them up sometimes just so that the front page isn't always the same. It makes the book look a little more interesting. But this is the page that we're working on, and this is what the finished product will look like. It will take a while to finish painting this. This is a little more involved. It may take somewhere between half an hour to an hour. Just pause and come back to it if you need to stop at any point. The thing I like about watercolor is that you can just pick it right back up whenever you can. It's very portable. I have a lot of reasons why it's my favorite medium, but a lot of mediums you can just come right back to them. Watercolor is the same. And basically, the exact mixture of colors that I'm going to use to make this painting, it may not come out exactly the same, but it will be similar enough. The reason I say that is because often watercolor is kind of like a chaotic medium in the sense that you're painting with water, so it's not always the same and you can't always get the exact same ratios, but it'll be similar enough to where anybody can make it. And you can see that with some of my other videos and demonstrations. Basically, if you bought the watercoloring book from me, this is how I make them. I just use little clips so they can kind of stretch the paper. I always recommend just kind of opening them up. I don't always do it, but if the image is large like this, touching all corners, just open them up so that it's easier, so you don't have to worry about getting in the little cracks. And then I'm using one of the palettes that I make and sell myself. If you bought that from me as well, it'll be a lot easier to follow. They come with a little brush like this that unfolds and goes in it. If you're using that, get a jar of water or just like a glass of water, so you don't have to be changing the reservoir all the time. It makes it a little easier. Unless you're on the go, then in that case, just use the reservoir. I always recommend having a little rag. I should probably change this out soon, just because it's very useful whenever you need to clean out the brush. Having a little plate. This is a soap dish that I got from the store. You can pretty much get them at any store, or if you just have like a porcelain plate, just use that. And it's all completely 100% safe and washable. It all comes off completely when you're done painting, so there's no worries there. And then just have a little scrap of paper on the side. It doesn't have to be watercolor paper. I like to use watercolor paper just because it's easier to see what the finished stroke or color that I'm using will look like. But yeah. Okay, so let's start painting. And from time to time, I'll pull up this image so that people can look at it. And I thought about just having it present at all times, but I think that can be kind of distracting, especially when you're trying to follow along with the mixing of the colors and how to make the strokes and everything. So I will have it away from the camera, but I'll bring it back into view every so often. And I'll also put a link in the description to the reference image if you just want to pull it up on your phone or something. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we will go for the color of the wall right here, the kind of this beige, sort of light beige color. And the way we'll mix that is we'll get some of this orange, not too much, we'll get some of the brown. I realized in my previous videos that I'm perpetually just about to run out of the brown color. So I just added another little tub here, or a half pan, however you want to call it. Okay, now clearly that's way too brown comparing with this color. So what I'm gonna do is, first I'm gonna neutralize it a little bit by grabbing some of this green, just a little bit. Okay, and that kind of made it more neutral. That actually did it really quickly. And then I'm gonna get some of this white, and my white is definitely contaminated with the red in there. So that's bringing it closer to that palish looking color, but it looks too dull. I don't like how dull it looks. I'm gonna add a little bit of this throw that in there. Looks a little better. And just get some water. Get my test sheet. Okay, yeah, that's close enough for me. Maybe a little more water. And then just kind of, now looking at this, you can see that the window covers are darker, and the shade underneath here is also darker. So a lot of these places, we don't really have to worry about them. We can just overlap them, so we're not like taking forever to color it in. Just kind of go in and be confident. Don't get too stressed out about making the marks. And also feel free to just grab water by itself and then just apply it. That's fine too. Kind of fill it in here. And also if you choose to alter the colors a little bit, that's also perfectly fine. Don't stress about it. Okay. Just go in like that. Maybe a little more water. Okay. There's a pipe here that runs along the side of the building, and it's darker colored too, so I'm not worrying about it right here. And throw that color in here. Okay, so, and remember when it dries, because it's watercolor, it'll dry lighter. And next we're gonna add that in here, in between these little garage doors. It's okay if it's a little darker. The light is kind of coming, it's almost like high noon. It's like almost coming directly down. And there, and there. And it's a fairly complex image. There's a lot going on, so feel free to go slowly if you want to make sure. I can almost guarantee you that even if you mess up several times throughout the image, because of the complexity of it, people won't really notice it. So don't stress out about little details. Okay, so now that side is drying, so I'm not going to go immediately right next to it where the yellow or more yellow building is. What I'll do is go right across where the red building is. Go ahead and I'll mix my color here. Just get some red. And honestly, I think that part of it is just really just red. Although that's a little strong. Let's see. So let me see, I'm gonna throw a little bit of, just see how that looks like. A little bit of orange. And a little more red. Let's see if I throw in some green that'll just darken it. I don't want to darken it. So maybe I'll throw a little bit of burgundy. See what that looks like. I think basically what I'm gonna do in this part to rely on it to look decent and not too saturated is basically just adding extra water. So kind of like this part down here, I'm just gonna grab that where it's more desaturated, and I'm just gonna run it right across. I'm not gonna worry. Well, let me see here. So these are kind of yeah, the grayish parts. Yeah, I'll avoid the pipes. I won't hit the pipes just because I'm worried that they'll come out too dark if I paint over them. But don't stress out about going outside the lines. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. It's just so important not to stress out about that, because trust me, it'll look good either way. Okay, you can already tell like I messed up here a little bit, but that's totally fine. Now this is something that I do for the fun of it. Like I do a lot of building sketches, urban sketches, plein air sketches, sketches of people. I love doing that whenever I'm out and about. I just have my pocket sketchbook and then I'll start sketching people. Sometimes I'll give it to them, and oftentimes it's just riddled with mistakes, but people usually like it. There's also a part of expressiveness in just painting it without being too worried about being inside the lines. Okay. All right. Okay, and then see, and it's already, you can tell how it dries much lighter. We'll go down here underneath. And throughout painting the scenery, you'll see that I'll leave spots that are just completely white. It wouldn't make sense in real life to do that, but with watercolor painting, it actually helps a lot for the piece itself to have white spots throughout the piece, for two reasons. One, it lightens it up, but also if you put it a wash everywhere and then you just leave one spot white, like let's say a cloud, it automatically just kind of draws the attention towards that because it's the brightest spot. So anyway, okay, so this is looking pretty good here. So we got it, and there's a little bush here that's kind of hard to see, but if you take a moment to pay attention, you can see where it stops. So we'll stop right here, and then let's see, we didn't color in up here, so we can actually go over this little part, little wavy lines, and also right next to right there. Okay, right there and right there. Okay, yeah, I kind of went inside where the pipe is going down here a little bit, but again, that's fine. Okay. And then this one of the things that I like about this paper is it dries pretty quickly, so this part is pretty much dry. So next I'll go ahead and I'll clean up some of this. If you don't have like a cotton rag that you can use, just use a regular paper towel. Okay, so next we'll get a little bit, I might mix this yellow with a little bit of this yellow. Kind of a weird combination, just make yellow with yellow. Next, I'm going right here. Right where that. And I'm trying not to leave too much pigment. I'm kind of picking it up. And do that. Okay. And then right here. Okay. Right here. Okay. I got a little bit inside this door here, but the door is really dark itself, so it's like kind of like this is dark. So, and actually I'm gonna go in here too, because when we go in to put the little wall here on the balcony, the little metal wall guardrail, it'll be very dark. So this is fine. So you can already kind of like tell the buildings apart. Now the next thing is the building next to this building is kind of an orange reddish building, kind of like this color right here. So let's bring this back just for reference. It's kind of like orange reddish. We'll go ahead and we'll go right in here. Here. Not even gonna worry about this little door. And then here. Gonna leave this white. Okay, down here. And right here. Okay. Okay, that's looking good. And actually over here as well, this is the building across also has some kind of like an orangish color. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so all of that is good. While this is drying here, we're going to focus on these little garage doors. And go ahead and dry this up, or clean it up. Those little doors, we're just going to go straight for the blue-green that we have here. And honestly, I don't think we're gonna do, yeah, that's kind of like, that's the color. So I'm not gonna do much other than just go right over it. It's not too much pigment in there, it's mostly water. It won't be as vibrant when it dries. And I'm painting right over the guardrail because this guardrail is gonna be very dark. So that's not gonna ruin it in any way. And go right down. Okay, now let me get a little bit of the blue here. And okay, so actually I'm gonna get a little bit of the dark blackish. Oh, did not mean that to happen, for that to happen. So I'm just gonna clean it up, nice and easy. Clean it up, and then get some of the dark blue, a little bit of the light blue, a little bit of the greenish, bluish. Okay, and I'm gonna run a line right down here. Gonna kind of go like that, and right here. Okay, and then also there's a little square right here. We're gonna put that color in here, and then let's see, right here. And that's fine. This building right here, it's more of a brownish, orangish. I use a lot of ish colors. Okay. There we go. Okay. A little more water. A little more brown, actually. It's looking too orange. Because we want to be able to distinguish it from the building next to it. This brown is already kind of on the orange side, so what I might actually do is get a little bit of this down here. There we go. Brown is kind of like a weird mixture of multiple colors. But there's a lot of red in it, so if you add some green or blue-green, it helps even it out. So that's what I did. Okay. Now with this here, we're gonna paint right over all of the windows. Very carefully. And then avoid the little balcony, but then paint over the rest of it. Okay, and the building right next to it is also the same color, so we'll go ahead and we'll grab that and we'll go. So there's a roof right here. It's kind of weird how they're layered. The buildings are layered. So, oh, I'm finding a sneeze here. Okay, there we go. So just bring that all the way down here. And also in the background, we're gonna keep that roof white though, because we're gonna color that in a little later. Okay, so far so good. It's interesting how you can kind of see a lot more of the image when you add the color, because it's kind of a complex image, so the more you kind of break apart the different shapes with the use of color, it just becomes more evident what's what. I always kind of like that. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this up again, and this time we'll be coloring in where there's like little trees and bushes, basically all the green parts. So there's one here, one big one here. It's like two. One of them is in the further back in space, and one of them is more closer up. So we'll paint this one, this one, this one, this little one, this little one, this one, this. So should be pretty straightforward. This green, if you're using my palette, this green is fairly blue-green. Can easily be changed to a more yellow green by just grabbing the yellow and throwing it in and mixing it up. Also a little bit of the brown somehow seems to help. I think it might be just because, again, it's more on the reddish orangish side. Okay, I'm gonna dilute it a little bit with the water and go right there, nice and easy. Okay, right there, right there. I'm just gonna go with just water here because it'll help give it a little bit of gradation. Maybe try to pick up some of the color that's already there. Part of the reason is just because it adds more depth, makes it more interesting. And you can basically do the same effect when you go back in with the darker green after it's dried when you're creating the shadows. Sometimes I just like that transitioning effect of pigment in the water, like one area being more heavily pigmented and another not so much. Okay. Alright. A little more green there. Might take some pigment off the brush and then right there. Okay. All right, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Now, while those are drying, what we can focus on is adding some shadows over here in this building. So it's going to be more like a brown, dark brown. So we'll grab this and grab a little bit of the dark blue here. That'll add a lot of, kind of like make it a lot darker. Okay. All right, that looks good. So we'll go right underneath. Just like that. And also on this side. Okay. I'm also going to sneak some of it in up here where the, what's that called, an awning? The roof kind of like sticks out. Here we go. Also in here, kind of give an outline a little bit. Grab. Okay, do it right there. I'm gonna dilute this. I'm just gonna dip my brush in my jar of water just a little bit. So this is still brown, but very much very loose. And I'll grab this and then just all the way across. Not all the way, just stopping right there before it ends, you know, where you can see the next building's guardrail. And then we're also going to add a little bit here just to differentiate that, and a little bit right here, kind of block it out, and then just grab, dilute it a little more, and then just go right there all the way through. Okay. And then maybe clean the brush and pick up some of it. Going kind of for like a faint brown there. Okay. And gonna get some of the darker brown and put it right underneath here, the roof next door to this building. Okay, that's fine. So looking good so far. We're also gonna get the same brown and just kind of maybe dilute it a little bit. Put it in where all of the bases of the different pots are, for where all the green is coming out of. Right there, right there. Okay. And then we will also get the same brown. Mix it up a little bit. Same brown will go right here underneath this guardrail. It's kind of like funky looking guardrail. Right there. So that's good. And we're also gonna do another just darker brown right here, because there's kind of like a gap between these two buildings, and doing one like this will help emphasize that. It looks a lot darker right now just because it's very fresh. As it dries out, it'll get much lighter. Okay, and then the next part is we'll go ahead and we'll clean some more. For a mixing dish. Okay, I'm gonna grab this. It's kind of like the blackish, grayish, bluish. Kind of dilute it. Dilute it a little more. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw that right down here where that little breaker box is, whatever that is, and then also right here for the other one, right here. Okay, now because this pipe kind of leads up from here into this right here, and just follow that. And there we go. So that's that. And next we'll go ahead and we'll do the same thing right here. Just the whole little part, the whole part of the guardrail for the balcony here. And do that right here too. And here, a little bit right here, kind of goes off to the side. And then right here. then the other pipe right here. Oof, see, I kind of messed up there. That's okay. Grab this. Run that down here. Okay. And then also we're gonna do the same thing down here and right here. And let's see. That's good so far. Gonna grab a little more, make it a little darker. And now I'm gonna go right in the back here and kind of coming up the stairs. It gets darker as it goes back. So I'm just gonna dilute some of this. I'm just gonna go straight for my water and then dilute it as it's coming out. Okay, something like that. Not too bad. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good to me. So next, while this kind of lower area is drying, I'm gonna focus right here. First, I'm gonna get some of this yellow. Well, actually, you know what? I should have just cleaned this up first. Okay, I'm gonna get this yellow right there. Some brown. Okay. I'm gonna do the sides right there, and then on the top, and same right here, sides and on top. That's good. And then also the same. I'm gonna run one line right down here. Perfect. Kind of like going around the outline of this little thing here, whatever that is. Like that. Good on that. And then with the same color here, I'm gonna mix in some of the darker, maybe get a little bit of blue, not too much. Perfect. I'm gonna go down here and here and here. It just gives it a little more depth. Same for this. Well, this one really we should be getting the darker one right here and right here. Okay, you know, I might do a little line right there. Cool. And then also kind of like now we're just kind of showing out where the shadow of the pots is, just kind of giving it a little bit of idea. of the shadow. Okay, all that's good. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this, mix it in with this, the dark blue with the brown, or the dark blue black from here with the brown. And for that, I'm gonna go right back here. Right back here, yep. Perfect. I'm gonna leave it right like that. So you may think it looks really dark right now, but it'll dry much lighter, much lighter. And then we can add a little more detail afterwards. I'm just gonna add a little bit of outline for where the shadow of the roofs appears. So that's good. And maybe another one right here. That's fine. Okay. So a little bit, I'm gonna try to kind of like blend it in a little bit. Just kind of like gently, a little bit of pigment and then mostly water, and then just kind of like brush it off, blend it in. Okay. That's fine. I'm gonna fill that in right there. Just a very kind of like faint grayish brown. That's it. Actually, we're gonna pick up this color right here, the same grayish brownish, and then just kind of run a line right there. And maybe grab a little bit of the yellow and mix it in. And then maybe just do a line right there. Something like that. There we go. It doesn't have to be perfect. Believe me, it does not have to be perfect. Okay, so while all of that is drying, let's see. So, okay, this is pretty dry. Let me grab a little bit of brown and maybe a little bit of the blue. A little bit of blue just so we can kind of tone it down, and then put some right here. There we go. That's that for that. So next we have all of this brown right here. We're gonna mix it with the red, and I'm gonna go down here more. So yeah. Kind of like a reddish brown for the rooftops. So let me just test it here on my trusty scrap paper. That's fine. So we'll go right here, go right here, up here, and go right here, and here. There's basically, take a moment just to see where the rooftops appear, and just cover all those in. Yeah, it looks pretty much, actually, you know what, I'm gonna give it a little bit right there too. just for good measure. There we go. So we're at 45 minutes so far. If you're still with me, thank you for hanging in there. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that gray, maybe throw a little bit right there. It's more like a greenish gray. That's okay. We'll just do that, and that's it. So we're over halfway done with this. The rest of it is, I would say that the most difficult part so far is done. And oh, I just realized missed a little red rooftop right there. Right there. There we go. That little guy. And a little too red. I'm gonna dry my brush and then pick up some of it because it's too red. There we go. All right, so that's fine. So next, I'm gonna have to clean up my plate a little bit. If you have a bigger plate, obviously you don't have to worry about cleaning it up as much as I do. Just kind of like depending on where you're mixing your colors. Now with watercolors, you don't always have to use a mixing plate. I prefer to do it when I'm at home in my studio, but if I'm outside just on the go, I just mix it all, like I just grab whatever color I need and I mix it straight on the paper. It's a little more difficult if you're not used to it, but it's really good for when you're on the go, trying to be kind of quick about it. I will make tutorials on how to do that. It's kind of fun actually. Once you get the hang of it, you can really kind of just like crank out paintings and sketches, and it's really fun to see them come to life so quickly. So now we're just gonna go straight for the black here, or blackish grayish. We're gonna dilute it with water. That's probably good right there actually. Let me see. Yeah, that's perfect. Get a little more water. And oh crap. It's fine, no worries. I'm gonna go straight just to even wash right there and right there. And then same thing for here. Not even gonna reload the color, just gonna keep going. For these window covers. Same right here. And right here. This one too. I'm gonna pick up more color. Lay it down right there. Okay, it's looking good. Here as well. And right here. Okay, and then we go right here. Kind of like this side of the little what are they called? Fuse boxes. So all that's fine. And we'll go right here. Right here. This part's really easy. I'm just gonna go right here, right here. Just basically filling in where you see little alcoves and windows that are shut from a distance. I'm kind of adding a little more back here, maybe where there aren't any, just because it's darker. It's kind of like tucked in there, so it's darker. And it's okay to add a little more dark in there. And then right here, and where else? Oh, okay. We have this right here. These are more of the covers, window covers. And that's good. And I think that's pretty much it for that. Next step. Alright, so this is kind of a harder step. Well, actually, we'll do that next. First, we'll let those spots dry. And let me get some more green and a little bit of brown. Mix it up and then some yellow. And some of the yellow orange. Orangish yellow. Next, we are going to emphasize the shadows of the little bushes. Basically, just go right in like that. Kind of like a little sporadically. And just leaving kind of like maybe some marks to show. But basically, overall, the light's coming from the top, so the bottoms are a little darker. And also, if they're further back, they're a little darker. Actually, I'm just going to cover all this, because it'll help this one in the foreground stick out. Okay, and do the same for under here. And under here. That's good. And here. Oh, that's looking good. I'm going to darken this up a little more. And this. Okay. That's good. We're good with that. And actually, I'm just going to clear that green because it's getting mixed up here. Oh, you know what? I just realized there's another little roof right there. How do I keep missing those? I'm just gonna throw this down. There we go. Jeez, how does that happen? Okay, so now all of the dark gray parts are dried. And actually, before moving into that one, let's do this. We're gonna get a little more red, mix it in here. A little more burgundy, mix it in here. A little more water. And actually, we're gonna go ahead and just lay it down. Try to lay it down kind of heavy, because we want this to be pigmented more heavily. Okay, in here. And in here. And right here. Basically, we're just kind of, it doesn't even have to be perfect, just kind of like some suggestions and marks. Some darker areas. Definitely right here. You can actually kind of play with this one. If you do it kind of quickly, you can make like a textured mark. It makes it look more interesting, I think. Right here. And still try to let some of the underneath colors show. The one that we laid down first on the building. Just because it adds more, kind of, it makes it more dynamic, adds more interest. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll color this in again. Like that. And up here. And there, that's fine. Next, we want to get the brown. Burgundy, maybe a little darker. There we go, that's what we're going for, darker red. And then we're going to go dot, 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 dot. Kind of like for the roof. These are supposed to be like bricks seen from really far away. So it's kind of abstract in the way that we're painting them. It's very abstract, actually. But it gives the idea. If you look at it at a glance, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I see. Those are like little bricks. Top of the roof there. And there. And maybe a little there. And maybe a couple there. There we go. Okay, so while that's drying, we're gonna go in with the darker here, darker color. I'm gonna grab some of that and then just go right in, right there. Just a little bit, maybe till about here. I'm gonna switch, clear off the brush, rinse it off, and then while it's wet, we're just gonna pick it up, kind of drag it out, maybe a little more, like that. And then it kind of bleeds in as it fades towards the foreground, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe do a couple of just quick lines, just because, you know, there's stairs, so obviously like that. It does not have to be perfect. Just like that. That's fine. That is totally fine. Okay, we still have some of the rooftops that are drying. It's fine while they're drying. We're gonna go right here where the dark color is. Kind of like the black. And actually, we're not even gonna dilute it. We're just gonna pick it up. I'm gonna make a couple of marks here just for practice. And then just pure black or dark. It's not black, it's just really dark blue. And go right here. Just kind of like thin strokes, thin as you could get them. But go slow, don't rush. See, it kind of messed it up there. And then right here, and then on the top like that, and on the side, there we go. Same for right here. And that's fine. Okay. And same thing. Dark color, and then I'm gonna come in and just do one line, kind of like that. Another line right here, and just kind of in the middle. It doesn't have to be a continuous line. You could break it up. It adds more interest that way. I messed up that line. Sorry, I got my microphone here kind of like in front of me. It's hard to see the angle. That's fine. This is all fine. Just go little strokes across. Okay. And go straight down. This is very abstract, the way that I'm covering these guardrails here. Okay, same right here. And you can see how they all kind of like dry lighter. That's why I'm not too concerned about going too dark. And right here for the guardrail. And these guardrails right here. And back here. Kind of coming underneath there. And like that. Okay. I'm not going to go back here because then that'll distract. That's too much detail for so far off. A little bit right there. Maybe a little bit right there. It's okay if the straight lines are not perfect. Maybe a little bit definition there. For the lines here, for the door, I'm gonna mix in the blue-green, and then just kind of go right in, make short, kind of like quick lines. It's hard with this brush to get really thin strokes. But you can get it if you kind of practice. There we go. Okay. Next, same thing. We're just gonna get really, really dark right there, and we're just gonna go right here for the little street light coming off the building, just very slowly. Right there. There we go. Sorry, my music stopped there. I had to put on some more tunes. This is the type of music that I have playing in the background. Is usually the type of music I like listening to while painting, just because it's very relaxing. Okay. Gonna go slow here. And okay. Okay, so that's looking good. And while that's drying, I'm just gonna add some more outline to a couple of other parts. Here, I'd like it to be a little more outlined. It's too much though. Yeah, let me get my scrap paper and get a little. That also happens if the brush is too wet. If you get a little drier and then just pick up some of the pigment, you can usually kind of shape it and get better lines. Yeah, that's much better. Much, much better. So that's fine. Let's see. Maybe a little bit right here. Right here. That's better. And honestly, I'm going to give a little bit right there. And up here as well. And another outline under here. And, you know, maybe back here. I'm going to rinse off the brush a little bit. So this isn't going to be as dark as this because it's diluted, but it'll still give us a little bit of an outline, which is what we want. Outline for right here. And do a couple right here. And one back here. And over here. Okay. We're almost done. We may want to add a couple of those lines actually down here, just so we can have a little more distinction. This, what I did is to get the line so thin, I just kind of shaped the tip of the brush with using my scrap paper there. Okay. Okay, so that's looking good, and this is still drying right here. I'm just gonna grab the brown and dark blue. I'm not gonna dilute either of them. I'm just gonna go ahead and start putting in some outlines for the little pots. There we go. Okay. And a little outline right there. And darken these up. And maybe darken this up also. That's better. maybe a little bit right there. Just trying to add definition to where there may be more shadows. And we're almost done. Now we just want to clear up some space on our mixing plate. Just grab the blue right there. Kind of dilute it because it's too saturated, so you want to dilute it with water. This is kind of probably the easiest part, honestly. Just go ahead and just run some blue right there on the top, and then get some water. Go right over. There we go. Get some more blue right here. And some more blue down here. And then get some yellow, put it right in. And maybe get a little bit of dark brown right here, put that right there. Yeah, that's a little too dark, but it's okay. Okay, there we go. That's pretty much it. So here's the original. I was experimenting with adding a little more red and orange in the green, but I decided I didn't like how that looked, so that's why I kept these just pure green. And maybe we could have spent a little more time darkening the background, but that's easy to do, just do a dark wash over it. But I mean, it came out pretty close. Very similar. Background clouds were a little different, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's it for that one. Thank you if you stuck with me all the way through. We're at an hour and 15 minutes. So yeah, that's with more complicated pieces like that, with a lot of little tiny details that you have to go over. It takes a longer time to paint it, but the end result is nice. I like it. And also just scenery in general is much harder to paint other than just like an isolated object like an animal or a person, because you have to put so much into it. But that was pretty much it. If you want to get one of these coloring books or my palette, the details are in the description. And I'm making this into a playlist, so as I make more of them, I'll add them to the playlist. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.